Hey everybody, what's up? Jess here, Arrow Jam Farms. Welcome to the channel. So today I'm working on installing some heaters and some block heaters for the engines and this tractor, and also my 1-ton. So I'm going to start with the tractor. Now usually when we get some cold weather or a front that blows in, it doesn't last very long. But I bought this heater kit last year and it warmed up before I was able to get it installed. And here last week we had a big Arctic blast or whatever they call it come in, and the temperature dropped a lot. I ended up having to work late, and it was in single digits when I got off. I had to come out, put out hay, and the tractor started fine, but you could tell it was complaining a little bit, and it took it a long time to warm up. So I'm gonna go ahead and install these heater kits, and you know, if the temperature does drop down, you know, in the low 20s, teens, single digits, I can plug this heater in for a couple of hours, and that should be long enough to get the engine warmed up to help it start easier and provide less wear on the engine when it does start in that cold weather. So let's get to it. I'll show you this one I got for this tractor, and the one for the truck's real easy. It's already installed. All I have to do is put the wiring harness on. But let's get started. Alright, as you can see, here's the kit for the tractor. This is a Kubota kit. So I'll show you the part number. And this kit had a bunch of different tractors listed as being compatible. So you may this may work for yours. There is the part number. Engine heater. Actually made in USA. Like I said, this was reasonable if I remember right. I mean, it wasn't expensive at all. But for this tractor, it's just installing the heater element and then the plug wire, and that's pretty much it. There's a few other things in here that was for some of the other models of tractors, but I don't need that for this one. And I think this is going to be the case for pretty much all of your M series tractors. This is an older, I say older, it's like an 06 M105S. It'll be the same for a 105X, 108S, 108X, 95S. I'm thinking even the like your 7040s, 8040s, 9540s. I think this is gonna be the kit for all of those. But like I said, you can look at that part number, and it should say, and it says in the instructions here, and there's not a lot to the instructions. So here are the instructions. This is just listing the different models. And then, so yeah, there's your M5040, 6040, 7040. There's a bunch of B series engines. Looks like there's some lawnmower model engines. Some more B series. I think even some excavators. And here's the ones from my model. So yeah, I see an excavator model in there. There's a 95S, 105S, 105X, 6800, 8200, 8540, etc., etc. Yeah, but that's just telling you where to find the plug on this engine block. And I think I found it on this one. It's the only spot I could find, or the only plug I could find that actually has a hex key on it. And it's right above the oil filter. The rest of them, you can see it's just right above that oil filter. All the other spots on the engine look like freeze plugs. One thing the instructions do tell you is going to need a 17mm hex key, and then a 1 3/8 socket to be able to tighten up the element into the block, and also some thread tape. So I'm gonna get this thread tape on here and get it ready to go. Now, I'm not draining my fluid. I know that's probably the best thing to do, but if I do lose some, you know, it's not going to be a ton. I'm not going to lose it all, you know, maybe a gallon or so. But I'm hoping I can get that that plug out and get the element ready, pull the plug and stick the element in and get it threaded before too much spills. So we'll see. Could be a disaster. So yeah, I'm gonna get the thread tape on here, and we'll try to get this hex key out. Well, all right, that wasn't too bad. I mean, lost a little bit, which I knew it would. But I mean, probably maybe a pint or less. I mean, it really wasn't much. I was able to get it in there pretty quick. So you can see the orange elbow right there. That's a rubber that goes into the brass part of the element. And then I've just got the plug dangling right here. I'll probably tie wrap it here somewhere just to keep it from moving around too much. But that's it. And once a storm's coming in or we get into some low temps and I'm gonna want to start the tractor, I'll just plug it in a few hours before I think I may need it, or overnight if it gets too bad. And that'll really help with these cold starts and save some wear and tear on the engine. Now the only thing I'll have to do is just double check and make sure, like I said, not a whole lot of refrigerant, coolant leaked out, but I will make sure and watch, and I may have to add some to my tank, my little reservoir, but I'll keep an eye on that. So just something to keep in mind. I mean, there's some in it right now, I can tell, so I mean it's probably going to be good, but I will keep an eye on it and double check, and I may have to add just a little bit to that. So yeah, the only thing is that dude was tight. I ended up having to get the breaker bar. So here is the plug that come out of it. Just a regular old plug, engine plug. So nothing special. Again, that was a 17 millimeter, and a 1 3/8 socket is what fit around that element to be able to tighten it down. So that's the tractor. Next up is the truck. And like I said, that's not going to be a big deal at all. That's just a harness to plug in. That's my 1 ton. And if you don't know, I didn't know it until I read it the other day, but apparently all the 6-7 liter Rams come with the heater element installed in the block. But there was an option for a cold weather package, and all that is just them plugging a harness into that block heater and running it up to the front where you plug into it. So those harnesses are available, so I got one of those ordered. As soon as that gets here, I will plug that in, and then I will install that, and then I'll have a heater for my truck also. The Ram, I've started that thing in like -5 degrees, but no issues. Like I said, just let it warm up for a long time. But if you know you have to do that a lot, that is hard on the engine. These diesels don't like to start cold, so if you can get that block heater in there on your truck or your tractors, that'll help your engines last a lot longer and save some wear and tear. All right, well, I'm here on the Ram 3500. Here is the kit to get the heater hooked up on this. And like I said, it's just a wiring harness. The heater is already in the block. So let me get in here and see if I can show you, because it's kind of back up in a tight spot. And this is my light here. See if I can get it angled. So right here is my oil filter, right there. There's a white plug right there to the left of the oil filter, and then right above that plug there's a black cap, and that is the heater. That's just a little black plastic cap that is capping off the prongs for that heater and protecting it from the dust and dirt. So I gotta reach in, take that cap off, and then put the end of this harness into that heater and screw it on. And then I gotta find a place, try to run that harness down here to the frame on the inside. And there's the push-in keepers that I should be able to find holes in this frame to match it to. The problem is all this is a tight spot, as you can tell. I mean, I'm barely even going to be able to get my hands in here, much less the camera. So I'm probably just going to try to get this hooked up, and then I'll come back and show you. Just because there's not a good way to get up in here to film. Like I said, I can barely get my hands up in here, and I'm probably going to be stretching and reaching. And so I'm going to try to get this thing hooked up, and I'm going to try to do it without. I've seen people do it. They come in and take the from the intake down to the turbo off and do it from the top. I thought I'd try this first, and if it don't work out, then I'll go up top and do it that way. So that cap was actually brittle. I was able to reach in from the top and get some channel locks on it, just trying to twist it off, and it just snapped and broke and fell right off. So dang it. So right now all I have loose is this top piece right here. I thought about just taking this whole thing out, but I was able to get my channel lock, my arm down in there good enough, and the channel locks on that cap to twist it off. So I still have this loose, and that's giving me just enough room to kind of get my arm down in there. So I'm gonna reach down in there and try to get this pushed in and get that nut started on there, that keeper. And then somehow I gotta get this tied on, those clamps put on, and these push-in keepers. I gotta find spots for those. So continuing on. Alright, I got it in there. Let's go over this real quick. You can see the black harness there. Like I said, it's hard to see back in there, but it's a little bit of orange you can kind of see. I was able to come down here at the bottom and reach my hand up in there and get that plug pushed in and get the nut threaded on there. And what I did initially was just fed it in from the top, and I tried to keep the end of the harness. I fed it in with the plug in first and kind of tried to make it go more towards the front, because I knew that plug was going to head that direction eventually. So what I ended up doing was coming more towards the top of the frame. You can see the oil filter right here. And so there's a clamp right here. It comes with a kind of like a pipe clamp type. You just snap it on there. And I moved these clamps around to get them to where I need them to go. Let's crawl under here. Hey, found a quarter. So right up there, it's coming from that. I'll see right up here, it's coming from that pipe clamp. I found a couple holes here in the frame. This one I put it in and I cut it off because I thought I was going to redo it and end up working out. So, but there is. I'll just come back and stick a tie wrap on that, and then ran it to here. And it's got these little flat clamps on it. And this is really the only bracket I could see that those would fit on. And so I looped it down, come back on this side and put the other one. And then there's two more of the push-in keepers, but by this point this thing is short and there's really nowhere else to put them but in the frame. So there was two holes right here on the bottom of the frame, so I just stuck them in there. And then if decide you want to plug into this joker, it plugs right there. It does kind of snap in right here. There's a little holder. I'll get it out of there. So you can kind of extend it a little bit, but I mean, this is still under the truck pretty good ways. So I'm thinking I may wind up mounting me a receptacle up here on my bumper somewhere, and then I can plug that in right there, or just wire it, hardwire it in. And then that'll give me a place to plug it in right up here up front. But yeah, anyhow, that's it. Not too bad. Once I, just kind of working through it. But it would have been pretty quick just to go ahead and take that intake off the turbo. That would have made it pretty quick. I know why people do it now, but I still got it done, and I didn't have to put a whole bunch of stuff back on. But anyhow, that's it for this one. We'll try it out the next time it gets cold enough. Well, alright y'all, hope y'all enjoyed that quick little video. I mean, that didn't take really any time at all. It took me longer to bust that plug loose because I had to go get my breaker bar than it did to actually get it screwed in there and then get the harness plugged in and screwed on and tightened down. So, it's worth looking into if you don't have one of these on your tractor or any of your other diesel equipment. Really look into it. This has glow plugs, and I do use those, but like I said, it still takes a long time to warm up if it's really, really cold, especially in the low teens and the single digits. So anyhow, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank y'all for tagging along. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button for me, subscribe, check out some of our other videos. God bless, and we'll see you on the next one.